Because honestly, in terms of Sonic, that was the hottest thing they had going on Sonic at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're just lucky this isn't ass. Because it could have been.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
The movie was also amazing.
It also could have been ass.
All three of the Sonic movies could have been ass.
Correct?
Jim Carrey reports back pains from on set from having to carry the whole movie.
What's bad is he even like he even carried that third one, right, movie on his back. It was actually good stuff. You could actually sell me on a no Jim Carrey Sonic movie at this point, and I would be like, okay, let's do it.
Though, if they do a Jim Carrey Sonic movie, I find that really funny because they introduce the fucking game accurate design and then kill him off. The cojones on these motherfuckers.
I just think it's so cool.
I just think Radical Highway is so cool.
Aw, the Knights Hotel isn't there.
You grind on suspension wire.
Wasn't the Knights Hotel still there in the 3DS version?
Yes. Because they all night.
Well, and it's also that was... Not just that they own Knights, that was, a reference in the original.
No!
Though they also changed the blimps, because wasn't it the blimps in the original were guy rings?
Yes. It was a... It was a parody of Got Milk.
Yes.
And in all other re-releases, they never... Basically... In all other re-releases, they basically... Never did anything with soap again. He had soap shoes in the original version of the game, and they never did anything with soap again.
I thought the soap shoes were still in the Steam version of the game.
No. No, they're not. All re-releases have removed those. Because the soap tie-in was a brand deal.
Because this is why never, I don't care how cool of an idea you have, never have a cross-promotion with some other type of brand, product, or get a big, for realsies named actor in your game. That will always lead to the game being a pain in the dick hole to re-release. Hi, Onimusha.
I was gonna say, looking at you, Super Monkey Ball.
What do you mean? 10 years from now...
You can't stop Kojima.
10 years from now, it'll be incredibly easy to re-release Cyberpunk 2077. It's just Keanu Reeves.
Every protagonist in an Onimusha game except for Dawn of Souls, which is why that guy was in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, every protagonist is based off a likeness of an actor. Every one of them.
Yes.
Sir, may I introduce you to Death Stranding?
Yes.
No, that's literally him, though. That's not even his likeness.
Well,
He straight up starred in that video game.
Okay,
The
it is his
likeness-
likeness in the legal sense of... To be considered a likeness, it has to be based on a person.
and
My girlfriend watched 2 minutes of that game and said, wait a minute, is that Norman Reedus?
He straight up starred in that game, guys.
Yes.
the
It's literally him.
the main character of Onimusha 1, Somanosuke, his face and voice are based off a Japanese actor, and the voice is that actor. If you play Onimusha...
Come on. Square Enix hasn't had any trouble, and all of their characters look like that.
No. In all of their characters.
The Merc can't help himself.
You make that joke, but didn't they actually finally re-release Crisis Core? Didn't that get that HD version?
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that?
What?
Gak straight up started Dirge of Cerberus.
And that one's still missing.
You know what's even crazier? I think it's even worse because Norman Reedus, probably, did mocap and stuff, but Genesis' first appearance was literally Gak in front of a green screen.
Yeah, the funny thing was that, didn't they set up the Dirge of Cerberus bullshit more in the remake?
Yes.
Yes.
Like when you're going through the, like, oh, did we get it? Did we get it?
Some Sonic in here. Oh yeah.
Aw.
He's still kind of tilted though.
Oh yeah, like some Sonic gameplay to me. What would this game be without it?
Also, Capcom should have re-released Onimusha Warlords. Still annoyed about that.
Well, looks like we gotta get an Xbox secondhand.
They literally re-released Onimusha 1, they just
Yeah.
didn't include Warlords.
No, Warlords was the original game. Ginma is that's the
Yeah,
Xbox
whoops,
version.
that's what I meant. Yeah, Game Onimusha. We have that import, because they also didn't do an American release for that. Have that physical version.
But yeah, never put celebrities in your games.
You can't stop Kojima.
He will do it.
He's not making games, he's just making movies at this point.
Exactly, baby. My boy.
That, whatever the fuck that new thing is, he's not calling it a game. He is just making movies at this point.
I'm pretty sure he would love if you
Man, I
put
didn't
that,
realize I was playing
if
getting
you
over the
tagged
Bennett
him in that on Twitter, Carson. You'd be like, thank you so much.
Also, Kojima.
That was my
What are you
entire
doing?
goal.
Also, Kojima is a pretentious
Everyone
hack.
else see the blue? Everyone else see that
What do you mean he's pretentious hack?
I had
This
this.
is how.
Hey, he makes good movies, Carson.
No, he doesn't.
He does make good movies.
George watched all 11 hours of Death Stranding. George literally watched it
Yes.
and then told me all about it. He was excited, and he was the biggest Kojima doubter when that game was being announced.
I was just down because I don't know what the fuck.
Who's ready for the Okami sequel?
And then he did
Because look, like I tell people all the time, I don't understand why people get excited about things that literally after watching a trailer, I can't tell you what the fuck it even is.
But then he watched,
Except people think trailers show too much, so that's why people get excited.
and then he watched the
Carson,
movie.
Pokemon Go's first trailer said that I was going to be able to battle people. It took them almost a year before I could do that shit. It took almost 2 years for them to trade.
George literally watched it and literally came over. It literally explained the whole plot.
Yeah,
And
trailers
with
show
the-
too much because we
to
are
the-
essentially corporate executives.
To the
But the thing about it
extent-
is that the whole point of those presentations is that it's supposed to show me what I'm supposed to be investing my money in. Which means that if you're not going to show me what I'm going to invest my money in, how am I supposed to know how to invest my money? Am I supposed to invest my money into you because you said, ooh, look at me, I made Metal Gear?
But it didn't prove that was valid.
I have literally wanted to for a while because I've heard how off the rails
He
it
proved
goes.
that it was right. He proved that that's a valid statement, Sean. You want to know who didn't prove that I made Witcher 3 was a valid statement?
I think, George, did you end up buying Death Stranding because of that? Because you watched it?
No. I own it. And at some point, somebody used to give it to me. Must have been you.
May have been. I know at some point you were considering literally buying the game just to support Kojima's
just
movie
to
career.
really have it. Just to have it and be like, look at me guys, I have the game.
I have been wanting.
George literally is excited for Death Stranding 2.
I have been wanting to do a deep dive.
I don't know what the fuck it's even about, honestly. Because, like, I'm just kind of like, alright,
Man, it's named
wait.
On the Beach.
man, you know, everything that I've seen from the one trailer literally makes me say, everything I'm looking at makes sense. I'm just not sure how we get here.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, before it was just, I don't know what the WTF is happening here. Now I'm just kind of like, okay, interesting. Because basically there's an entire game mechanic that I can't wait for somebody to for someone to explain. Because I know what's happening. I don't know why a certain characters are still alive. Because I thought it would kill them.
I feel like Death Stranding shows why we need publisher influence.
No. For what?
To prevent games like that from being made.
What, from Death Stranding?
Yes.
What are we doing?
What's wrong with Death Stranding?
Everything!
What? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
give me a reason.
It is a cinematic experience,
baby. Kojima unleashed a problem.
Actually, you wanna know what the worst part about that is because every time I hear somebody say something about Death Stranding, and we're basically just talking about gameplay, because I'm assuming what you're talking about is serious gameplay. Because basically nobody wants to quote play Walking Simulator.
Yeah, I was going to say the game is.
I watched at least 3 hours of 100% S rank only Death Stranding play, and I want you to understand. After like the first hour and a half, there is no walking. This man has enough equipment that he is quite literally running as if this is fucking NFL football everywhere. Which means that if anybody is complaining about this game being a walking sim, they're not playing the game. And I know that that might sound tedious, but I mean, what do you expect from a game that's about delivering packages? Not to mention that the best part about that scenario is this isn't even literally hyperbolic. There are so many people that love Death Stranding because it is an accurate simulation of what it would be like to probably hike and or walk these areas.
Yeah.
These people are wrong. These people are just objectively wrong. Why would you want to come home from your 9 to 5 as a fucking mailman to then play a video game where you're a mailman, and not even a fun one? I want to be doing crazy taxi drift everywhere.
What do you mean? You have guns!
Yeah, but I mean, that's not even the point of the game. The point of the game was the experience.
Like, I don't know how many times, like by hour 3, this man literally just had these stun rifles.
What if my
Like, fight literally was just rolling up on dudes every time they try to jump them, and just be like...
What if my experience is miserable? What if my experience was the game is that it's miserable, tedious, and unfun?
I mean, George watched the game, so...
Yeah.
I
You don't play it. Watch it.
I have been wanting to watch it, but because it can be boring as sin, that's the reason I haven't done the deep dive.
You just go to YouTube.
I've wanted to watch
You
it,
just watch all the cutscenes, like George did.
but then
You
I
watch
won't.
the gameplay.
But then I won't have the context for the story, and I want to watch the story go off the fucking rails.
What
Because
do you mean? I literally found a video that was like 11 hours.
Why didn't I
Dude
fly?
included several actual sections of gameplay within that 11 hours just for context sake. Merely because of the fact that there are actually some instances where you do need the in-betweens of going from A to B, especially when we start doing storm shit, because storm shit literally does do the thing of basically you went to a spot and it starts off being a fucking storm, and you get sucked into said storm, and then we start doing shenanigans. Not to mention that literally the first 3 hours of me watching this was me saying, where the fuck is Mads Mikkelsen? And then like hour 4 is where I was like, oh, there's Mads Mikkelsen. There's Mads.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with Kojima doing the exact same damn thing he was doing with fucking Metal Gear, which is literally just making a fucking movie.
Oh, when I say Kojima is a pretentious hack, that also extends to Metal Gear.
But
Yeah,
Metal
but
Gear.
Yeah, but he's talented.
No, he isn't.
Yes, he is.
Metal Gear, man. What's wrong with Metal Gear?
So many things.
Such as? I mean,
Can't name an example.
Most people love Metal Gear 2 purely because of that last monologue.
Mm-hmm. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what is your overall opinion on Death Stranding? I thought I would ask, since we were talking about Death Stranding, since that game basically is an amalgamation of multiple different messes. Like Carson said, it's more of a crazy interactive movie. Because when no one can tell that man no, he makes absolute pretentious nonsense. Because sometimes I do feel like you need somebody to step in and tell you no. And in a lot of ways, I think Death Stranding is a perfect example of a time where I feel like we would have been way better off if someone had actually stepped in and told him no. But because that didn't happen, we ended up with the confusing and pretentious enigma that is Death Stranding. So, in my opinion, it really is a good thing when people step in and tell you no, while some people will get mad and say, oh, but someone stepping in and telling you no is often corporate meddling, and that can basically ruin creative visions. Sometimes you need someone to basically tell you, no, this is not a good idea, we're not doing this. Because the man is basically creating things that he doesn't even consider video games. And it's like, what the hell? So, overall, I do agree with Carson. Basically, leaving that man unchained was a mistake. And I know a few people agree with that, but this is a rather split thing, because while a lot of people would agree, a lot of people would also disagree. So, overall, this question and this topic are super interesting to me, but I'm starting to ramble. So, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.